of the content covered may be graphic in nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely it's really
just I love stories like this because it's
people just someone scared to death.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Just there are countless stories bad enough.
People that you shouldn't fuck with, right? And the
JFK assassination all
too real.
From the mistake on the leg, deep within the Great American Rust Belt, breaking all of the streaming records online with a hot live listener feed of 0.0. This is T3TV. We won't be saying good morning or good evening to anybody watching right now because there is nobody watching right now. Today is the self-deprecating hour, so
a new low point.
Yeah, here we go. I'm joined alongside Daniel Stephen Rady.
What is up?
And Buddha Rady Daniel Stephen Gibson.
Buddha Daniels.
Buddha Daniels.
There you go.
Sounds like your country star name.
It is.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, we didn't think about this the last time we got on and did this, but it was Thanksgiving the following Thursday, and so obviously I'm sure we would have broken the internet that night too, but we decided to give the internet its due rest. So how was your guys' week and holiday?
Very, very, very stressful week. Holiday was fine. Got to see some family and friends and stuff like that, but I haven't seen in a while. But week with work has been very, very stressful.
Yeah. Well, we won't drag you down through the mud through that. Buddha, how was your week?
It's pretty okay. I am I'm going to be off for a week because I got that surgery tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that'll be exciting.
They're taking it off.
I'm getting change.
The let's get the fillet. All right.
Only the finest cut of meat for our listeners.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, okay. Yeah. So holiday was pretty good. Nice 4-day weekend, and then back to it this week. It's weird. Like, after you come out of a 4-day weekend, like you're ready. Sometimes I get myself psyched up for the week ahead, but this week it was just kind of I don't know, like it was just a steady, nice calmness. So I'm hoping that continues. I tracked drums with Buddha on Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's actually
finally gonna get that song done.
We're working. We're getting there. I was waiting on John to do them fucking drums.
Did you comp them?
I did. They're all comped, roughly mixed,
nice.
But pretty much there. I got a little bit of flavor on them.
Did you have to put a sample on the kick?
I mixed it.
Did you?
So there's the raw mixed with the sample. It was after it was all in there, I was like, it is just not cutting it.
Yeah, we got to do something about that kick drum.
It needs a new head. It needs that EMAD head.
Yeah, I think that, and then putting the port on the front, I think it'll make it nice and
for sure.
You'll get that snap on the EMAD, and then the bottom that you want.
I feel like the Cobra beaters always sounded more snap than the DW beaters.
I never thought about it. But then again, I've also been using samples strictly on drums for like ever.
That's true.
I've never really used live drums in a mix. I've always just put samples on top of the actual performance. So
I like the, sorry Dan, but you're gonna have to fucking listen to me talk.
Piss off.
No, I like the ability to
shut the fuck up.
Thank you, John.
I like the ability to do raw drums just because I have them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah.
Well, yeah, and you've got a nice kit too. You know what I mean? So
right.
But yeah, so We tracked. Dan, what were you going to ask?
Well, I was just going to say, I wonder who is going to actually get their song finished first, me or Buddha, because we're both taking an extremely long amount of time getting our songs done. When is your? Do you have a target date yet, Buddha?
I'm going to be off for a week.
Did you finish?
So,
Did you finish Resident Evil 7 yet?
no, I haven't played. I think I played Monday was the last night.
Yeah, we tried to get you to play Back for Blood, but you were not available.
Yeah, that day that you texted me, that was the last time that I played.
So what are you thinking?
That might have been Sunday, actually.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. I think I got to the point where
Wait a minute,
you said that
John.
you were like,
I was asking Buddha a question. You just
derailed the conversation.
You just took my question. Yeah, you derailed the hell out of the conversation. Buddha.
Sorry.
So wait a minute. What were you going to say, Buddha? Because I wanted to hear what you said.
I was going to say I'm off for the next week, so
right.
I'm going to have plenty of time to work on it because I can't do anything else.
Right. So
that means he's going to beat you.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it going to be done January?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be done before January.
Shit. Well, you will beat me then. Okay.
But see, here's the real thing, though. Buddha, do you have lyrics for it yet or no?
I have. Yes, but I was rewriting them as I was going.
Yeah.
So the main idea is there.
Yeah. Dan, do you need me to track drums for your song?
Oh, no. Actually, that part's all done. I just got to add a little guitar, synthetic guitar, finish the last verse, and... Are
there horns on this track?
Huh?
Are there horns on this track?
No, no, I don't think so, no. I was actually thinking about putting some horns in there, but I don't think I'm going to. It's just going to be... You actually heard it. I forgot about that. I'll let you hear it. The lyrics I still got to work on, and then I want to have either Buddha or Rob put in some kind of just like a very quick solo guitar section in it. So
let me ask you this: on your when you do the horns, do you do a single horn or do you use the already layered horns?
Well, it all comes in as a single horn. I can let the keyboard has that way of doing that, but it's only a single horn section unless I hit different keys and make it dual sound or split sound.
Yeah.
In my older music, I was doing it that way. I haven't really used horns because I don't want it to sound. It sounds too much like a college band fucking playing. You know.
Gotcha.
So,
I don't know,
but
Buddha, is Dan sounding really digital on your end right now? Like he's talking through
it did
auto-tune?
for like a second.
Yeah. See, I'm wondering if I have an internet lag here or whatnot. So
It wasn't any more than a normal week, though.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear that with you guys all the time on my end.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, not all the time, but bits and pieces where it'll lag and then you'll disappear and then it'll catch back up and then you guys are talking like a million miles a minute for half a second, like it's speeding up. It's trying to catch back up.
Huh. Yeah. Maybe
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's really weird. It sounds like you're talking through auto-tune, but
Oh.
yeah. All right. So, all right. Well, we'll see who gets it done first.
I think Buddha's got me beat from what he's saying. So,
What's your target date? January 1st?
who, me?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be my target date's probably going to be more like closer to March, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just the way things are going right now with work and extra hours and shit, it's not going to get done until probably March.
What else do you do, Dan? It ain't nice out anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Did you go on a bike ride that night we went and saw Resident Evil?
Yeah, that was, I actually did. That was,
Where do you go
when the hell
riding?
did I get home? Off of by Bocce Park, off of the canal.
So you'll drive your bike down there and then ride along the canal?
Yeah, it's all. I mean, most of that area is lit up right around there anyway. And then, unless you get into the area where it gets dark and like toward Brecksville area, then it's you're going in the woods. But
Yeah.
and all right, sometimes I go toward downtown. I'll take it right down the steel yards, past that area. I met up with Brandon down there a few times, actually.
Interesting.
So, because he's a big bike rider. So, yeah.
Even in the cold. Good for you.
Yeah. I mean, when the snow hits the ground, I'm done with that shit, obviously. But
Yeah.
I'm
What
not
if
trying to kill myself.
rain and like near freezing?
Near freezing, rain. Yeah, I'm not riding in the rain. That's I draw the line there. If
Yeah.
possible.
Okay.
Did you
All
ever
right.
take your bike off any sweet jumps?
Have I?
He's referencing Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, let's get into a couple of news stories here tonight. So Dan, I just for the sake of like some of the stuff that you're interested in, I always kind of do a search on like auto, General Motors, Ford, and I came across a couple headlines I thought you might want to touch on tonight.
Sure.
So did you see General Motors says it will offer heated seats on more 2022 vehicles despite chip shortage? Did you see this?
Yes, and I know what happened there. But
All right.
go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and read what you're going to read, unless you want me to talk about it.
No, go ahead and talk about it because I just have the headlines open.
So General Motors and all its intelligent brains there decided that with the chip shortage, they were going to not offer heated seats on a lot of their vehicles, and the buyer could have just put up with it, not have heated seats. They were going to give you like a $500 credit on the vehicle price, and just leave the heated seat option off the car altogether. And I think even heated steering wheel too.
Would it have had the buttons?
I'm sure it would have had to have the buttons. If the car came with it standard, it probably would have had to have the buttons. They just would have been inoperable. Just wouldn't be able. They would do nothing.
Yeah.
Unless the car had it as an option where it was, if heat was an option, then they could put the panel in there without the buttons. But nowadays, all actually done by the touchscreen anyway, so there's not any physical buttons much anymore either.
No, that's true.
Anyway, but I guess at one point, GM, this must hit them really bad because people, if there's one option people want in their cars, it's heated seats, especially in the northern climates. That's just something everyone has heated seats in their cars now. It's not even a big option. And I'm quite sure that General Motors had a lot of complaints and probably lost quite a bit of sales, or potentially going to lose a lot of sales. So that's where the article comes in, where you were talking about. They decided that what they're going to do is retrofit the car. They're not going to take that give you that credit on the heated seats. As soon as the chips come in, they're going to take the car to the dealership at no charge. They're going to retrofit the car with the correct hardware to and stuff in it to get the heated seats back in it. Fast, just typical General Motors now. Typical.
Yeah. It says also another headline here: GM won't make new Bolt EVs until at least late January 2022. Did you see that too?
Yeah, I just saw that news article. Actually, I did not read it. I know obviously the Bolts were starting on fire, and they were the
Dan,
Bolts do not park.
I hate to cut you off. Are you able to click the link out and try joining back in? It's like really bad, and I don't know if
Sure.
it's, I don't. I'm just seeing if that will change it. I don't know if it's that. Yeah. Thanks, dude.
Yep.
But yeah, Buddha, I don't know.
I was hearing it from Dan that time too.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, I looked also too. There's another headline here that says General Motor stock is moving higher, today. But if those cars are catching on fire, like you said, I don't like, electric cars, the way of the future, I guess.
Damn those fossil fuels.
Yeah. All right.
I saw something that I don't know if it was Tesla or if it was Elon Musk with some other endeavor that was selling was it electric quads for like children or something like that?
No, I don't know, but I looked up I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, you there? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that for a little bit. See what happens. But yeah, you said the cars caught fire.
Yeah. So yeah, the Bolts were starting on fire. At GM was telling people they couldn't even park the car, and they shouldn't park the car in the garage because basically these cars would, I don't know, spontaneously combust. I don't know what the hell would happen to them, but the batteries would, basically were starting on fire, and there were some very close. No one got killed or no one got, died in these cars, but there were some pretty damn close calls. So GM and LG had to get back together to find out what the hell, because LG is the one that produces the batteries for the Bolts. Yeah. They had to figure out what was going on. So, I didn't read the story, though, to what you're referring to. I have no idea what was going on with that part. I'm assuming it's based on the whole battery situation.
Yeah. And then two other quick stories here. I don't know. It says General Motors opens Factory Zero. You know anything about Factory Zero? What that is?
That hub. You know what? I have not heard that. Was that a battery factory?
You know, I don't know. Does anyone care? No.
Factory Zero interest.
Yeah. General Motors has opened
right.
up its Factory Zero in Detroit, Hamtramck, in the presence of the U.S. President Joe Biden. The company sees the conversion of the factory into an all-electric car plant, a model for future renovations.
Okay, yeah. That I know what the factory that is. That plant was the one that built all the full-size GM cars for decades. I didn't know that they renamed it, Factory Zero or whatever. But I know what factory that is. That's where they're going to be building all their electric shit at.
Be selling zero cars on top of it.
Yeah.
Although the new Blazer, I saw a new Blazer the other day. That thing looks pretty slick. I gotta say, I thought it looked nice. I'm
gonna go with you're saying there, John. Ugh.
All right, well then,
Buddha.
Pretty slick for a blind man.
I thought it looked. It's modern take, but I thought it looked. Like how some. I don't know. I'm gonna get shit for this, but do you ever see like when a car it has like a nasty look to its like front face? It looks like a mean face. I don't know. Kind of where it has like a brow that's pitched like angry. I thought it looked kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish they would have taken some cues at least from the old Blazers a little bit. I mean, some design cues. To me, I can't even tell the difference between any of these SUVs anymore. Like the Bronco at least looks unique. I'm not saying it looks good, but at least you look at it and you're like, oh, that's a Bronco passing me by. But the Blazer just.
You know what? I mean, I've seen it must have been like a higher trim Blazer because this base model I'm looking at looks like piss. So I don't,
could have been.
I don't know. Maybe it's an old. Maybe let's see.
Sure, it wasn't a Trailblazer because the Trailblazer just came back out. It might be the Trailblazer. Maybe it's that. Yeah, that just came out like this year, I think, or last year.
Yeah, I think it was the Trailblazer.
Okay.
Now that I look at it,
that's a little flashier looking.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, the Blazer. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that was not.
Yeah, all right.
That's why when you said look good, I was like, I didn't think you could be talking about the regular Blazer.
All right, cool. All right, we're gonna do a couple other news stories here. We'll keep it lighthearted on this one. Did you guys see in the news that the Home Alone house is available for rent on Airbnb this coming week?
It's gonna have like the little trap, some of that stuff set up in it.
Oh, really?
I did not see that.
Yeah, so basically they're putting the house up for rental for one night. It will only be for $25, but the whole internet's going to be going for it. So there's got to be somebody with a bot out there that's built to just, hit this right away.
How many people are going to be able to stay in it?
Anybody can try. So the $25 stay for 4 guests will include a screening of Home Sweet Home Alone, the new one. Oh, this thing is getting the shit beat out of it online, too, in reviews. The latest film in the franchise and the new Home Alone Lego set. So the stay includes
none of that
holiday
is worth $25.
Yeah, the stay includes holiday decoration, booby traps inspired by the film, pizza, and a candlelit dinner of microwavable Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Oh God! Ugh.
So,
I didn't know there was a new Home Alone movie coming out.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. Like, did either of you guys ever watch The Office or Bridesmaids?
Yeah, I watched a bunch. I watched The Office pretty much till Steve Carell left.
Okay, so the one chick that was on The Office, and then she was also in Bridesmaids, like redhead Ellie Kemper, I think is her name.
Oh yeah, the young chick from The Office.
Yeah, she's in this, and basically like the story goes, I guess, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I guess there's a rich snobby kid who's supposed to be the new Kevin, kind of, and the Ellie Kemper character's family's going through hard times, and they lost some sort of like doll that I guess is worth a bunch of money, and they think that the kid, the bratty Kevin McAllister ripoff kid, stole it. So the whole movie is them trying to break into the house to steal the doll back to sell online to get a bunch of money. And so the kid thinks that he's trying to be kidnapped by these two. They're trying to think they think that they are trying to steal the doll back from the kid. And so it's just, but they're getting, you know, of course, the typical Home Alone, you know, booby traps and all this stuff. So, and then it turns out they're all friends at the end of the movie. So, do you want to watch it?
Or is that like a Netflix?
It's Disney Plus.
Oh boy. Okay.
It should be a straight to garbage release.
Straight to what?
The garbage.
Yeah. So, but $25, dude. I mean, I'm sure like if you have to sit through that movie. No thanks.
Yeah.
Oh.
We
Right.
should get it for 20
What's that?
and just rent it for, like, entire homeless population stay there.
I wonder if it's my connection because now you're really.
I did not hear a word.
Yeah. Maybe Clean Feed's bad tonight. I don't know. If I leave the room, does it boot you guys out?
I think so.
I'm not sure. I think you're hosting it, aren't you? Or does it not work that way?
I don't know. I'm afraid to stop the stream because we actually have some people. We have some people in here, but I don't want to turn it off. But then, we'll just keep going through it.
Just go with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Hey, for the people that are listening, can you guys hear any dropouts, or is it like lagging or anything, or does it sound fine on your end?
It's going to be laggy because it's going through a virtual mixer. So whatever I'm hearing is what's going out.
Ah, that sucks.
Yeah. All right. Here. So this is off of UPI. Planets to align in December before 2021's best meteor shower. The final month of the year also features the longest nights of the year, but an extra hours of darkness will have astronomical events that people of all ages can enjoy without a telescope. The annual, obviously is Gemini, but it says a Geminid meteor shower will steal the spotlight as not just the top event of December, but also one of the best meteor showers of the entire year. However, onlookers will need to bundle up for a cold night to enjoy what it has to offer. December will also bring the final eclipse of the year, although very few people will be able to see it. And then the other big astronomy events of this month will be visible for millions of people, starting off with an event that can be seen even from the heart of the brightest cities. The Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus to align. Well, that's kind of interesting. I wonder what kind of like spooky things are going to happen.
Other than what happens every day, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Did you see the that new picture that is? It's here. I'm looking at it right the other day. It says a volcanic moon star from Jupiter, I guess. Jaw-dropping Jupiter and its volcanic moon star images from the NASA spacecraft. It looks like you're literally looking at something under a microscope. Like it's all like swirly and kind of like a slide.
Huh. Well, this thing is going off the rails tonight.
What's that?
What do you
Because
mean?
it like gets dead silent, and I don't know if you guys are going to talk, and I'm like, should I keep this moving or what? Or are we just stinking on ice tonight? I don't know.
I think it's you guys because you guys suck.
All right. Well, so, all right. I'm going to give you two other quick stories. These ones are kind of funny. This one here says Turkish man's 3.46-inch nose earns Guinness World Record title. So I know another useless Guinness World Record, but
That's not even something you had to
3.6
like work to achieve.
I know. This Turkish man who was verified by Guinness World Records as having the longest nose on a living person is said to supersize schnoz. Wait. Oh, God, I can't read. The Turkish man who was verified by Guinness World Records as having the longest nose on a living person said his supersized schnoz gives him an enhanced sense of smell. Well, no shit. All right. Mehmet Ozirik, whose nose was officially measured at 3.46 inches away from the bridge to the tip, said his large nose was the cause of mockery when he was a child. But he came to see it as a benefit. I'm sure his wife did too. So
my question is, how the hell do you get the Guinness Book? Do they just you have a bunch of friends that are like, you should get that thing measured. I bet you've got the biggest nose on the planet. How does he? Like, how does he even go to how does that even happen? Does he just call the Guinness Book and said, I think I have the biggest nose around in the world? They measure it. I don't understand. How does that shit even happen?
Basically, yeah, you have to like submit.
Is that how it is?
And a lot of the incredibly, I mean, most of them are stupid fucking records, but
right.
Oh, no.
Like, well, they have like dumb shit like almost high fives in a minute, like stupid shit like that. I don't know if they do now because of COVID, but they used to have like a Guinness certified judge or whatever would have to like judge the action. It's so dumb.
Yeah. Toby says 6.5 cut. Oh no, yes. I only smell with my nose.
Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah. Boy, that thing, like, he might be able to use that for other things too. You never know. All right. And then last story is, did you guys see this? Russia sues astronaut who drilled a hole in the spacecraft to reportedly be separate from partner. So there was a woman astronaut, I guess, in the space station. And let's see. It says, after completing an investigation recently, the agency deemed the action as a sabotage. It cited that Serena, I'm not even going to butcher her last name, an ISS crew member during the incident, as the culprit. As allegations were handed over to law enforcement of the Russia, Roscosmos announced the possibility of criminal charges. It says here, the agency claims that the astronaut drilled a 2-millimeter hole in the Soyuz MS-09 vehicle, which was docked at the International Space Station in 2018. Basically, I guess when she was in space, she got married to Jeff Chancellor. The couple is still married to this day. It's unclear as who's the boyfriend, as stated by sources. It says, seems to have wanted to leave due to a blood clot or a fight with her boyfriend on board the ISS. So she drilled the hole to sabotage the mission to go home. So...
Wow, man.
So yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got. Boy, we're really fighting tonight.
Have you ever heard of I think it's pronounced pyrosomes?
No.
No, they're like these giant fucking sea worms that are out like out the coast of New Zealand. And I mean, they don't really do anything. They like eat plankton and other dumb shit, but
kind of like how the show's going tonight.
Yes, but if you look at them, they're pretty fucking wild because they're like 30 feet long and they're just like out floating in the ocean. Totally random.
Boy.
Well, should I go first or should Buddha?
It don't matter. Whatever.
Yeah.
Mine's quick. I'll say mine is actually not even a story or anything like that. It's not fun nor funny or anything like that. It's something I kind of wanted to do, sort of like I don't want to call it a product review. Huh? I thought someone said something.
He said,
I said, are you coming out?
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, so it's kind of like sort of a product review, even though I didn't actually use the product, but I want to go with this anyway because it is car related, and it's something I kind of wanted to discuss with our few listeners that we have. Everyone's gotten those phone calls for the aftermarket warranty. We've been trying to reach you. Your warranty's about to expire. All that stupid bullshit that you get in your phone calls, right? Well, anyone that hangs up on those things is doing the right thing. And I wanted just to do a real quick thing about aftermarket warranties and why most people should just stay the hell away from them because they are garbage and they're complete shit. I've never personally had one. Okay, I've not had any like Car Shield or Endurance or Protect My Car. Those are a couple of the companies, but I do know people that have had them. Some ex coworkers I used to work with that had horrible experiences, and I know a few people in the auto industry. So I wanted just to kind of give a few people that, whenever you go buy a used car, you think about getting an aftermarket warranty. Sometimes the dealership will sell you one. Sometimes you think about it after the fact. I kind of thought about it because as you guys know, I had brand new cars. I drove, 3 brand new Chargers for the entire decade. Toward the end of the year, end of the 2019, my lease was up. I decided I bought a used car to save some money, and they had some mileage on it. So I kind of looked up like Car Shield and some of these other companies just to kind of see, like, get some reviews, look at the reviews on them. And I was just, it was unbelievable the amount of negative reviews that these companies have, and Car Shield is one of them. I'm not trying to pick on Car Shield. I don't know. I've never had them, but the reviews, they get an F rating by the Better Business Bureau, 2,000 plus negative ratings. Now, yeah. Now you think, well, of course, any product, there's going to be people that love it, people that hate it. Obviously, that goes true for anything you try to buy. But there's a common denominator with Car Shield and some of these companies where it's the same thing. Claims are being denied left and right, on things that the people thought were covered, they weren't covered. And I want to just give an example of how this works. So let's just use Buddha, for example. Wonderful, lovely Buddha. He's driving along with his truck, and his engine starts making a noise. So he has let's just say, one of the aftermarket car warranties. He's like, oh, this will be covered. It's making a noise. I'll be in good shape. So he calls up the company. They tell him to take it to his shop, whatever shop he wants to go to. Now, number one thing, he has to make sure he can find a shop that will actually accept one of these companies, because these companies are such garbage that most ASE certified places don't even want anything to do with these companies like Car Shield and some of the others. So that's the first thing he has to do. But let's say he finds a shop that's going to accept the aftermarket warranty. He takes his truck in. First thing they got to do is they got to tear down the engine. They got to completely tear down the engine to find out what's going on inside of it, if it's an internal issue I'm talking about, just using that hypothetically. Well, Buddha's like, oh yeah, go ahead, right? No big deal. Well, the insurance company's not going to pay out on anything. They also are not going to pay the $600 to $700 labor that is involved in tearing down that engine unless it's covered. So they tear down the engine, they find what's wrong with the car. The company sends an adjuster to look at the engine. They say, oh, you know what? Unfortunately, we're not going to cover this, Buddha, because you bought this truck, you have maintaining it correctly, you didn't change the oil, change like it should have been. You didn't know you did this because you the truck. And now,
Damn,
not only are you
chopped up real bad, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Okay. So now so then that happens. Decline the claim. Now it's up to you no, we're not paying for this to fix it. The person's left high and dry. And if you read these, and I'm using Car Shield as an example, a lot of the other ones have bad reviews too. You just look at just tons and tons and tons of horrible reviews, 1-star reviews. Another thing, the cars sit there for weeks. A car will sit there for 3 or 4 weeks before the adjuster even gets to look at it sometimes. And then when he does, he declines the claim. Their contracts are written with they're very gray in certain areas, and you can see they're slick lawyers that wrote these contracts up. There's certain parts that just that they write in there, and I don't have an example of the contract. I see like part of one, but there's certain things that just hardly ever go wrong with a car. Or if there's parts that they do cover, they will blame it on another part that caused it to go bad. So they say, well, this caused this part to go bad, so we're not going to cover it. If you don't have all the records of your vehicle that for the last 2 years that you've had maintenance done on it. Obviously, someone that buys a used car may not have all that information. They buy it from a used car lot or whatever. And they're not going to tell you any of that stuff in the initial sales call. And it's leaving these poor people, and I do feel sorry for them to a point, but then there's a point I don't feel sorry for them, because these people that are taking the time because they have to write these big, long, giant, bad reviews on the company, if they just did what I did, if you have this tool in your hand called a smartphone, it's got all this information. You can look at all kind of reviews on things and make intelligent decisions. If you're going to make a decision to spend $100 to $150, $180 a month on a product, take time. Don't look at some stupid TikTok video of some brainless moron dancing. Don't look at a YouTube video. Just take a few minutes to look the reviews. Look the shit over, see if it makes sense to buy, and make your own deduction at that point. But people don't do that. They just think they look at these flashy commercials. They have, what's his name, Ice-T and Chris Berman. Chris Berman's the ESPN, the former ESPN announcer. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know who, of course, Ice-T is, the actor, rapper. Those two guys are on commercials saying, well, I drive with CarShield. Both of those guys have a combined net worth of $80 million. Neither of them need to drive with fucking CarShield, okay? They don't need to drive with CarShield. And beside that, and any of the cars that they have would certainly not be covered with CarShield, even if they did have a CarShield policy. I'm sure they're driving Bentleys and Ferraris and Lamborghinis. So people get sucked in by a celebrity, thinking that the celebrity, says I drive with CarShield. And they don't drive with CarShield, I'm quite sure. I think they can afford to fix their car if it breaks down. And this is just something that I wanted just to, kind of get out there for people to just, of course, make your own decision. Like Buddha Ice says, you're going to make your own decision. That's fine. By all means, make your decision. But
has anyone ever had like a successful post?
I'm glad you asked that, John. I'm glad you asked that. So in my investigation of looking at all these reviews, I do come across some 5-star ratings from on the Better Business Bureau. And you know what's great about it? They look like they were written by a third grader. It'll go something like, now the people that do the reviews that are bad are paragraphs long because they had a horrible experience. The ones that are good, the review goes something like this. It goes like, it'll say, and I'm paraphrasing. This is not an actual review, but it'll say an example like, it went good. I feel good. Car runs good. I'm happy. I can sleep at night with CarShield. Yeah. Something like I said, something like a third grader. So that's not even a real review. That's a fake review that was put in there.
Review is written in crayon.
Yeah, right. The Consumer Report reviews, now they got a lot of great reviews there, but guess what? The majority of the reviews are for people that had a great quote-unquote sales experience. The salesman's the product yet. It's saying that they sold you a great product. That's wonderful. But the ones that are actually needing to use this product after when the time comes, they're the ones that are getting left high and dry with this. So, my this is what I would say to anybody. If you're going to take $150, it's not hard to figure this out. You're going to take $150 a month and put it toward CarShield or Endurance or Protect any of those companies. Do your homework and just put in a damn savings account. Have an emergency credit card with a $2,000 limit on it. I know this is easier said than done. I get it. It's not easy. But if you're going to give a company $150 on a product that they're probably going to put you through hell to even cover your car, why not put it? Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's more than some people's car insurance.
That's what I'm saying. $150, it's average. Sometimes it's a little cheaper. Sometimes it's a little more depending on what level of insurance you get. Their so-called platinum level doesn't look to cover anything more than their standard one. It's just you're paying more for it, and they're putting a lot more crap in the contract terminology in there. But yeah, it's average. I'm just saying an average of $150 a month. And you take that money, put it in a savings account. And if something goes wrong with your car, you can be in charge of who repairs it, how it gets repaired. It'll get repaired right away. You're not going to be waiting for adjusters to go out, worrying. Another thing, too, they will use rebuilt parts. They're not always going to put a brand new part on your car. So if they can find a rebuilt transmission, for example, or something like that in a junkyard, guess what? They're going to put it in the car. And that's another thing that a lot of people, I saw a lot of complaints on. I'm not just trying to be some great big guy like, I'm a big investigator. I looked at a bunch of reviews. I've known 2 coworkers that had one of these companies. I think one was CarShield, one was another one. I can't remember the other one. And this was before I even was interested in it. They told me of horror stories of their cars not being covered. And I thought at the time, I'm like, who knows? Maybe they're not telling me the whole story, whatever. But now looking at the reviews, and I know two people in the auto industry, one in a GM dealership that was a service advisor, and my one friend I've known for years who's been a mechanic for 20 years. Both of them told me horror stories of why their companies don't even honor any of these aftermarket warranty companies. Now, I'm not saying they're all horrible. I'm not saying that. There are some good ones out there, but the ones that advertise on TV, this is what the service advisor told me, my friend. The ones that advertise on TV the most are the ones you want to stay away from, because they're the ones that are going to give you the hardest time approving a claim. So that was my little product review. If I can help some people out there, I'm hoping I can. Maybe it's just one person that was thinking about going for one of these companies. Do your homework.
Yeah, because it's so weird. Because if you look on Consumer Affairs, they've got 2,200 ratings, and they're 4.4 out of 5 stars. But
I made a mistake. Thank you. I said Consumer Reports. I'm sorry. Consumer Affairs. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. Yeah, and if you look at those reviews, a lot of those reviews are people just saying how wonderful of an experience it was. They're not, I'm sure there's some people reviews that are saying that they had a great claims experience and they covered their cars. But you go to the Better Business Bureau, they're not accredited. They've got an F rating with the Better Business Bureau. And, and CarShield seem like, I'm using CarShield for the example, they do seem to, refund people money when things don't go the way that, so they do seem to, the customer service part of it seems to be okay, but there's also a lot of reviews of rude customer service, people hanging up on them. They're not getting their money back, just things like that. And that happens with obviously a lot of corporate America. That's not just these companies, but I just want to try to help people do your homework, do what you're going to do, but just do your homework on it at least. Now that I got that rant out of the way, that was my thing tonight. So I hope everyone enjoyed.
All right.
You're supposed to play that in the beginning.
Sorry, I know. I think I figured out what was going on. We totally went down for like a minute there in the middle of your thing.
Okay.
But, okay. I think it was I switched to a different band, and I think that fixed it. So, Buddha.
I don't know if I could top that wealth of knowledge Dan just dropped on us.
That's right. You got it.
I did have a home warranty once that was pretty bitchin'. They gave me no issues.
Okay.
What did you ever
That's
replace?
Good.
Your foot?
I got a furnace that they covered a bunch of, and AC that they covered a bunch of.
Really? How old were the units?
Yeah. So that was
okay.
Like 20 years old.
And they still covered it.
They covered like half of my AC, and they covered what the repair would have been for my furnace, but gave me that money towards a new one.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. And it was only like $500 a year.
You remember what the name of the company? What the company is?
America's Preferred Home Warranty or something like that.
Okay. That's good. I've heard horror stories about those companies too, but nowhere near to the level of what I was going over. But that's definitely good.
Yeah, they were super cool. That all happened in like a year. Or
Wow.
I think it was 2 years. So I spent $1,000 on that and got like a couple grand in coverage. So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Dan, just to back you up here, I'm on Better Business Bureau, and that company, 1.42 out of 5, 1,267 customer reviews, and not accredited.
Yeah, that's just the reviews. That's not even the complaints. The complaints is well over 2,000. The reviews are just people that they review it and they go over that's one more thing I want to tell you too. One more thing I will explain to people. If you ever do want to call CarShield or go online with a quote, you better not put your phone number in, because they will blow your phone up nonstop. Even when you tell them you're not interested, they will aggravate the shit out of you. And that's another thing I've seen a lot of complaints on was that too.
Yeah, I'm just reading some of these reviews here.
Oh, they're terrible.
All 1 star.
Yep.
And they're all within I'm looking at some of these they were posted like last week.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's there. They just keep coming on in, and I mean, it makes you wonder how some even people say that. I mean, people are talking about getting lawyers, and the thing is, they can hide behind a contract that is so vague. That is how they're able to, insurance contracts are unilateral contracts. I mean, they're set up to where they make a promise to offer a service as long as you pay premium, but it's not going to be verbatim. There's going to be things that they'll offer the insurance, but doesn't mean they're going to cover it, cover the whatever the issue is.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ugh. Yeah. So I'm fortunate enough to I went the lease route the last 2 times only because it
right.
just keeps me in a newer car and I don't have to really worry about it, and maintenance is built in, and
right. Yeah, and a new car warranty will never. I mean, these aftermarket crap, that'll never be anywhere near as good as a new car warranty is the best that you can always have. So
yeah. Yep. All right, Buddha, what you got tonight?
The clap.
All right.
Well, mine is not going to be as riveting as Dan's. Wow, I don't know what that is. Let's see. All right. So this is actually a case about a woman. Are you done? Can I finish? Please, can I finish?
the hand going for the dick.
Whoops,
Wow.
wrong one. I hit the wrong key. Oh, sorry.
Well,
We done? Can I
now
go?
we got that out there.
All right. Sorry, Dan.
I did not say that now, folks. That was an old recording, just so you know.
He was thinking it.
I
I
spliced
was,
it together. Sorry.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway.
So this is motherfucker, I swear to fucking God. Let me just tell the fucking story, and then you assholes can do whatever you want. Stop it. Come on. You're
All right, Buddha, I'm done.
He's going to sign off in a minute.
I think.
I am. I'm about to. Fucking chill
come
with
on.
that shit.
I
Give
thought
me
he
a
was
break.
gone.
You're the one
All
that
right.
he's
I'm
the biggest
in a
ball
crabby
buster.
mood, Buddha, today, believe it or not. And I'm
You're in a
actually
crabby
laughing.
mood?
Biggest
Yes, and
ball
I'm-
buster of all time, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go off here because you keep playing sounds.
Yeah, because you're fucking can't even let a motherfucker talk.
Right.
All right, you
We
done?
have
Can I
negative
tell my
5
story?
users now, or not users, but listeners. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, it's about par for the course. All right, so this is a case about a woman named Susan Walsh. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her at all. I guess her case was kind of a big deal. This happened in the 90s, so we would have been pretty young. Anyway, so it says July 16th, 1996, Susan Walsh was a 36-year-old who hurriedly had dropped her son off at her estranged husband Mark's house. And her husband Mark was actually the brother of Joe Walsh, so Mark Walsh, but Joe Walsh from the Eagles. And it says she didn't say where she was going. She claimed she'd be back in a couple of minutes, but actually she never returned. And this happened in the city of Nutley, New Jersey. And authorities believe that she chose to disappear, while others believe that she met foul play, possibly murdered by mobsters, dying of a drug overdose, or just vanishing into a local strange subculture of sex and danger. And that's the lead into the case, and then now for the backstory. So Susan's dream from the beginning, from early childhood, was to be a poet and a writer. She lived in a broken home, an unhappy childhood, and by the time she was in her 20s, she ended up being, by this time, she was an alcoholic, a drug addict, and a stripper. She used stripping to pay her way through college, but was able to actually finish college. And in 1984, she graduated, kind of started to get her shit together. By 1988, she was 4 years sober, married, and a devoted mother. And it says one of the friends stated that two of the most important things to her were her son David and her job as a journalist. So Susan and her husband Mark eventually separated, and in order to financially support her son David, she unfortunately had to go back to stripping. And it says, but this actually provided a critical boost to her journalist career because she got an internship at New York City's New York City's Village Voice, which was just like a news outlet. And one of the first things that she was put on was researching the sex industry. So obviously, like, kind of being in that line of work, she had a little bit more insight to what is actually going on the inside. And she found a great story. She found a story about, God, who the fuck wrote this? She found a story about Russian mobsters in New Jersey that were allegedly forcing like Russian immigrants that would come into the U.S. They would pretty much traffic them and force them to work in strip clubs. Basically, like, they brought them over here for that reason. So after she published this article, she got like a bunch of praise from it, but then she also ended up getting like a bunch of threats because at this point, you know, you're making enemies if you're outing the Russian mob as a whole or, you know, specific people of the mob, whether it's, you know, the clubs or the actual mob, the, you know, the higher ups themselves or whatnot.
Right. So
her next project is the one that people feel may have actually put her in more danger. So now going back in the early 90s, all around New York, like the Greenwich Village area, with, you know, which being like a wealthy area, there were these like vampire clubs that decided to pop up, and a lot of them would actually claim that like they're legit blood drinkers. So she kind of started going off, you know, she started researching this into like this whole vampire cult, like just world that's, you know, going on kind of behind the scenes in New York. And she eventually started dating a man that claimed to be part of the undead, quote unquote. So she wrote like this big article about vampirism, and apparently she believed in it a little too much, and kind of like not the idea of the cult, but like the idea of vampirism like in real life. Evidently she became a little bit obsessed with that. So the Village Voice decided not to run her story because, you know, it just kind of sounded fucking nuts, I guess, for lack of a better term. So in 1996, a month before she vanished, her career was kind of on the upswing again. She'd done a bunch of research for this book called Red Light, Inside the Sex Industry, and it was by author named James Ridgway and Sylvia Plachy, I don't know how to say that. So it could be Plachy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. James and Sylvia, they got it done. So the night of the publisher's party, James noticed that Susan actually had bandages on her wrist, and he also learned that along with her cutting herself, she was taking tranquilizers and started drinking again, just kind of falling off the rails. So she pretty much brushed it off when James, you know, approached her about it, and she just kind of said, like, I'm good. You know, if I decide that I need help or I think that I need help, then I'm going to get it. I'm fine. I'll take care of it on my own. Also, it was reported that at this time, like, Susan was back to dancing, and during a documentary made by a woman named Jill Morley, who was actually a friend of Susan, she had talked about the toll that just stripping had taken on her life, and how, you know, it was basically difficult for her to assimilate like to a normal life and kind of even like get a hold on her life. And she ended up telling Jill that, you know, she had bronchitis, she had emphysema, she had an ulcer, like she was just in a rough position in her life. She had been to the hospital a couple times that week. She was experiencing mood swings and was depressed. And apparently 2 days after Jill last saw her is when she just mysteriously disappeared. So there was a couple things that kind of came into play, or a couple things that were believed when this happened. It was that Susan had just collapsed from depression, poor health. You know, she finally just succumbed to that lifestyle. But the police thought that, well, you know, if that was the case, like her body would have been found by now, whether she was dead or probably would have popped up at a hospital, like if someone found her or she checked herself in. So her family and friends just kind of continued to believe that, you know, she was dead just from the lifestyle and just kind of how she had been seen in the last state. So James Ridgway believed that she actually may have overdosed with someone else and then somebody just dumped the body. But, you know, once again, there was never a body found anywhere. So the authorities just came to the conclusion that it was of her own choosing that she just decided to disappear. So detectives had spoken to multiple people that had claimed to have seen Susan, including a woman named Melissa Hines, who claims that a month after she vanished, she saw Susan next to a black car. She yelled to her, and she yelled to her, but then Susan ended up getting in the car with a couple different men and just drove off. The license plate number was tracked down, and the driver believed that, like, yes, he was with her around the time she was spotted, but obviously couldn't be sure. So Melissa then believed, you know, if she's still alive, once again, she's probably deliberately hiding. Just whether she seemed to think that it was more so she went into hiding because she was in danger and thought that the mob had been after her for the research that she had done on, you know, the Russian mob trafficking girls into work in strip clubs and all that stuff. So obviously nothing ever panned out. Like, they had no concrete evidence as to what actually happened. So even to this day, like, the case is, she's still a missing person. So now the month of when they looked at like her belongings, the month of July was ripped off of Susan's wall calendar. And people kind of tend to believe that this was actually removed by someone that was involved with her disappearance to cover up some appointment that may have been marked on the calendar saying like who she was going to meet or where she was going to meet. But, you know, yet again, that there's never been anything to actually like prove that any of that has happened. So as far as kind of what the theories would be, to go a step further from what I had already said, a lot of people believe that Susan was actually met, with foul play. Her disappearance was related to the Russian mob, or it was related to the vampire clubs and cults. Some people believe she died of a drug overdose, you know, while the police basically just believe she was, you know, left to her own accord. Like, she just decided to go. Her family doesn't believe she left voluntarily because pretty much all of her personal belongings were left behind, and, you know, including purse, keys, pager, money, medication. And she also, I was just going to say, and she would have abandoned her son, which was like one of the main points in her life. So, not mentioned was some people had considered her ex-husband, Mark, a suspect in a disappearance because, interestingly, he refused to have police do forensic tests on their apartment, and also claimed that on the day she vanished, she went to use a payphone less than a block from their apartment. But, you know, police could not find any records of outgoing calls being made from payphones anywhere near the apartment. And officially, like on the record, they never actually named Mark as a suspect. And then an ex-boyfriend of Susan's claimed that she had told him another ex-boyfriend of hers, a man named Billy Walker, was stalking her, but it was never said either way whether or not that she was actually that Billy was actually considered a suspect in the case. And the other thing is that, like, you know, if she was afraid of being stalked, she never went to the police with, you know, anything to do with that. So this show actually, or this case actually aired on a show called Disappeared on January 31st, 1997. And the only results they have from this is in 2006, investigators stated that they were now certain that Susan was murdered. They believed, you know, she would not abandon her family, especially David, and then, you know, go years without contact. And for it being an old article, it says they are currently investigating several possible suspects, but we all know that means this is New York. They don't really give a shit. There's people go missing all the time.
We're going on 20 years at this point.
Yeah. And even one of the things I thought that was pretty interesting is, so since she had essentially kind of like infiltrated one of the vampire cults because she was dating a dude that was allegedly in one, it turned out that they had like a quote unquote a guy that had an inn at one of the hospitals, and he would actually take blood from there for them to drink at like these fucking cult gatherings, I guess you would call. And the whole point was like, hey, it's from the hospital, it's screened, it's clean, you know, it's, I guess, technically not hurting anybody. I just thought that was kind of wild that, like, evidently it had involved like a lot of higher ups, you know, pretty people with power that were in like this fucking vampire club. And one of the things being that, like, you know, nobody wants to get outed as something fucking crazy like that. And then to have a guy that is, you know, being paid off well or taken care of well enough that he's risking stealing fucking blood from a hospital.
That is weird. Yeah. There's been a lot of television shows, especially in the 70s. I know, like, the occult was in the late 60s and 70s. That stuff was, I mean, that stuff was popping back then. I didn't know it was going that far into the 90s. I'm sure it probably maybe it still happens now, but...
Oh, yeah, dude.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, does it? Yeah, I didn't know. But, yeah, I mean, I know in the 70s is when that stuff really got started. But it makes you wonder, like, for sure, if somebody sacrificed her, you know, with that guy. I would be leading to believe that it had something to do with that cult.
I don't know, Dan, because, like, Hitler was pretty into the occult and weird stuff like that, too, though.
Would you lean more...
Hitler?
Oh, Hitler, oh.
You know, Adolf Hitler?
Yeah, I thought you said Heather.
Would you lean more that it was to the vampire cult or more towards, like, the sex trafficking ring from the Russian mob?
Well, I guess, you know, that's true, too. But then I guess the other thing that bothers me on this whole story is was it the husband or boyfriend that did not allow the police to go into the house?
The husband? The ex-husband. They weren't living
ex-husband.
Together. But so actually, well, hold on. They actually, which is fucking weird. I don't know if they officially got divorced or if they were just separated, but however it worked out, she had an apartment and then he had the apartment in the same building below her, which is really weird.
Yeah. That's, I mean, the thing is, you know, they didn't consider him a suspect, but you would think that if someone refuses to let you in to do, why are you refusing? You know, I mean, they could have gotten a court order, I'm assuming, but they probably he needed to be considered a suspect for them to get a court order to go in there and just do it, you know, to go in there.
Which makes me wonder, like, if maybe they didn't actually get divorced and they were just separated because whether, you know, let me double check if that said he wouldn't allow them into his apartment or her apartment. Well, no, they must have, because if they went and found all her personal belongings, it would have been his apartment.
Right, but even then, I mean, they had a relationship. They know each other, so I'm shocked that they didn't do some kind of, like I said, you know, court order or what, you know, to go in that house and just be.
But it says he
I mean, that's something that they need enough evidence to do apartment. That. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this connection because, like, both of you guys were, like, talking at the same time and it was like blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. I think I need to get a new router. I switched back because this is how stupid this is. I couldn't get onto certain servers for Activision. I was playing Call of Duty, and it was the Motorola router that I had would not connect to Activision servers. It kept giving me this error, and then I realized I looked it up. And I did some digging on Reddit, and it was the Motorola router that I bought last year was the problem. So then I swapped out for the one that WoW gave me, and it worked just fine. So. I mean, the Motorola router was great. I always had good service, but I guess there's some firewall or something with it that's they just don't talk to the servers. And so when I was on the 5G band up here, it was really bad. But so I went down to the 2G band, and now it's more stable. But when it's still goofing up, so quite frustrating.
I had no problem hearing Buddha. I heard him throughout the whole story.
Yeah. I don't know. It was really weird over here.
Whenever I have 5G at home, it's like the service is like super spotty.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, Nagel would probably be the best person to ask about how, you know, the waves in the signal, and how I believe there are with 2G the wavelengths are longer, and in 5G there's the waves are shorter waves, which allows you to get a faster speed. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just trying to sound cool. Gary, where are you? Oh, I don't know. But yeah, there's so many possibilities with that case boot. It's really a toss up. But you know, I'm going more of the way of of somebody wanted her quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I could be wrong though. Been wrong many times. Wrong about this show tonight for sure. All right. No more sound effects tonight. Should I shut it down, Buddha? What do you say?
I don't know.
You
guys got anything else you're talking about?
You guys got
anything else worth talking about?
What'd you think about that? So we went and saw Resident Evil. Dan, did you see it yet?
No. How'd you like it?
That cost $6. I'm not going to see that.
Screw you.
You know, like I said, they tried to get as much. They got like as much of Resident Evil 1 and 2, the game, into one movie as possible.
Okay.
I thought the first 45 minutes of it were extremely slow. But then again, so is the game. Like it's meant to like creep you out and be suspenseful.
So they took the first one.
What's that?
They took plot of the first game.
It was 1 and 2 kind of hybrid together to make.
Oh, that's movie. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought some of the casting, like.
Oh, the casting was terrible.
And
it usually is in those kind of movies. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. And then I also just thought that they didn't really do like. I mean, I just think that they really did not do Leon's character any service by this movie. But that's.
Well, I feel like in every movie, especially like video game movie, they always have to have a character that's like the Joker, or the guy they're gonna shit on.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're going off of like the actual games, okay, yes. So in Resident Evil 2, he was the rookie. You know, he was inexperienced. Resident Evil 4, he's like the badass special agent that's sent to save the president's daughter. And they literally had him in there as like, he doesn't even know how to use a gun. And I was like, and just the cast, like the one thing I could not get over how bad the casting was. Like the only one that even looked right was Chris.
I thought Claire was okay.
And like Claire was kind of okay. Like it was
Wesker?
Okay. But
towards the end, it was okay.
Wesker, yeah, like he didn't look like him, but honestly, for the way he was portrayed, he wasn't a bad cast.
No, I thought he did pretty good. But yeah, I mean, there's so much like lore for the first, 2 games that like to pack it into an hour and a half, But again, there was not a whole lot of zombies in the game or in the movie either. And when there was, it was like done with like strobe effects over it. I don't know. Like I'm kind of shitting on this movie right now, but I'm also like, I don't want to shit on it because I know like it was like an honest attempt to make like a good movie. You know what I mean? So
right.
I feel.
And the whole zombie thing is kind of dead now. They probably had to try to get out of that zombie thing. That was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. That was the thing. But
yeah, they really missed the boat on that too. I do agree with you. Like, I mean, and they're also doing the Last of Us television show for HBO, and it's like, why? Yeah. I just yank on that udder a little more. So, but
the one thing that I do have to touch on, which we did, is the nods that they did to certain points in the games were spectacular.
Really?
Like the first zombie that you see was the exact way you see him in the first game. Yep. The truck driving in the beginning was damn fucking close to what you see in the game.
Even the truck driver looked like the character model.
Like that was really cool.
That was the best cast, was the truck driver and the first zombie.
Right. Did they incorporate the mansion from the first one?
Yes, they did.
But it's like, it's almost, it's like you've got like Avengers Endgame, you know, Weta, the studio that did all the special effects for that and all the compositing and rotoscoping and all this shit. You've got like that multi-million dollar, near billion dollar studio of
right
visual effects artists, you know, and then you have like somebody in their basement with a green screen. This was somewhere in between.
Gotcha.
And there are times where it looks like somebody's basement, and then there were times where you're like, oh, it's not too bad. But like, I felt like the mansion, like when they're in like the foyer of the mansion, I'm like, this kind of looks fake.
Gotcha.
I didn't think
so the game basically looks better.
I didn't think they did a bad job with the mansion set. I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't know. I just feel like some of it was too digital. I could be wrong. I don't think it was as practical. I will say, though, that the new Ghostbusters has a ton of practical effects in it.
Did they actually use the original set? Because didn't they go back to the firehouse?
They did go back to the firehouse at the very end. Oops. Sorry. I don't know if I should have. Who cares? You didn't see it. Fuck off. Go see it.
Are they using the old station wagon again?
The Cadillac does make several appearances. I don't believe it's the original one. I'm sure they had to find one, but the original one is parked on the Sony lot. But
one thing.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say the one thing about that. What they call that car again? I can't think of the name of it.
Ecto.
In the movie. That's right. That actually, just for anyone that doesn't know, that Cadillac back in the day, you know, like the 60s and early 70s and that, they didn't have ambulances like they have now. Ambulances were actually station wagons, just like that Cadillac you see in the Ghost. I don't know if that Ghostbuster car was a former ambulance or it was a former funeral car, you know, hearse. But the Cadillac made those cars. Those weren't something that were custom made. Cadillac actually made those station wagons in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
they were used as ambulances.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people don't know that, so I just threw that out there. But
yeah, getting your hands on one of those is like damn near impossible now.
Oh yeah. They're not easy. They're all rotted away or classics now.
Yeah, but yeah. So I thought. I mean, obviously, if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, the fan or the audience score is like in the high 90s. It was like 95 the last time I checked, but it's just a fantastic movie. And you know, Resident Evil's currently in the shitter, but
I'll say one thing.
I did like Resident Evil. Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say I had one confession though. When it comes to Resident Evil. In '96, when that game first came out, I bought it, you know, because I just bought a PlayStation, brand new, and I got the game. And the reason I asked about Wesker is that actor that played Wesker, in the video beginning, like I wanted to look just like that guy. Obviously, I didn't have blonde hair, but I actually spiked my hair up like that guy, almost as high. I got to try to see if I have some pictures of that. But I bought the Aviators. I damn near came close to. Bleaching my hair blonde because I was just so obsessed with the way, like, how cool he looked. He just looked so fucking cool in that game.
Yeah.
In the beginning of it.
Where, and then, like Chris lighting up a ciggy as they're flying away from the mansion.
That was cool shit, though, man, at the time. I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was legitimately, like, on edge when I first played that game. Because, dude, that was fucking, what was I? I would have been, like, 9, 10, something.
Yeah.
Something like that. I also did I send it to you, John? I don't know. I might have just sent it to Al. So the dude that made that movie said that he was anticipating using Barry in future installments, and he was gonna put him in that movie, and then they opted not to so that they could save him for a future installment. Yeah. But then I was like, the motherfucker was only in the first game. Like,
yeah, the whole time everyone's like, "Where's Barry?" Or the nod at the end of Resident Evil 3 when the chopper comes in. It's you. Are you ready to finish this?
That's right.
Yeah. And then nothing ever happens.
I remember I brought that Resident Evil 1 over Shkupka's house, Buddha. I don't think you were there, and they didn't even have a PlayStation, and I was playing the game for the first time, and all of the brothers were out there, the younger brothers were there watching the game and I knew what was going to happen. And that scene where you're walking, it's in the beginning of the game, where you walk and the dog smashes through the window. You know what I'm talking about? Remember that part?
Yeah, you go through the hallway right in the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of them spilled their drink. A couple of them fell off the couch. They scared the shit out of them because they weren't expecting that.
I didn't get hip to Resident Evil until the second one, and my friend had it on PlayStation 1, obviously. It didn't get ported to the 64 until way later, but I the first time I watched it, I was like, I have to get a PlayStation just for this game. And he had the strategy guide, the 100-page magazine that you came through that basically outlined how you should play the game and what was in each room. And oh man, and that's the one thing that the biggest jump scares in that game were the hands coming out of the walls in the police station hallways, the birds flying through the windows, and then there's when you go into the interrogation room, there's a two-way mirror, and right after you grab the key and turn around to go out, the liquor jumps through the two-way mirror. Scared the bejesus out of me every time I played it.
The liquor was pretty cool in that movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was cool. And the dog was really cool.
See, I thought it looked fake.
Well, no, I thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being overly critical.
You're being a fucking snob.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I get mad at my brother when he does that.
See what happens when you get old?
Yeah.
I'm very critical about stuff like that too, though. But I also you got to go into it like you can't set the bar very high with like movie adaptations of video games.
Yeah.
Or comics or anything that has an original source and then is turned into a movie. Like
that's a good
just
point.
Set the bar low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dan, not to change the subject real quick, but this is kind of for you and Larry. I think this Saturday I will be going to see the JFK car.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
going to Henry Ford, huh?
Yeah. So we're thinking about checking out that museum. But yeah, I'll send you some pictures.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll be looking at that car and you'll be thinking of the video that we did.
Yeah, when we actually had viewers. Almost 500,000 to be exact.
If you
now we can barely crack 50.
If you talk to one of the the curators or whatever around the museum, you gotta say look, I don't think this car's real. I think this is just start going off on them. Say I think they rebuilt this car from another car and the original one was destroyed. And just see what happens. Start a big scene.
Right. But yeah, so we might go to it. I'm not sure yet totally. But it's in the plan to go at least this next year, but one thought was potentially this weekend, so. But yeah.
You're going to find out that they got a lot of other stuff that are not car related in there too.
Yeah. Well, they have this whole village too. Unfortunately, they do like a holiday lighting type thing, and it's all sold out this weekend. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah. But there was something else I was gonna. Oh yeah, and I also looked up tickets for Spider-Man for next week. Almost every Cinemark showing is almost sold out for 3 days straight.
Like, what is the big hype about that?
Well, supposedly that because it's going to be in the multiverse, you're going to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire come back as Spider-Man.
That's it?
That's the big thing. Because a bunch of villains from the other movies are coming into this Spider-Man's universe. But they're the ones... It's clear that they're from a parallel universe. So, but yeah, so... I mean, I want to see it, but, But we went to that other theater, that... it was almost empty when we went.
Yeah, there was those fucking farm animals in front of us, and then like 2 other people. Dude, they made so much fucking noise.
I didn't
like
think
they
so.
just oh dude, then you're fucking deaf.
Yeah.
Because it was like they strapped on a feed bag and just went to town the entire time. And then like when we were like in the back seats when we were leaving, like they were already gone. They left a fucking mess all over the floor.
Yeah. You know, it's funny too, because like we were watching at first it was like we looked at, because you got to assign seats, and I sent Buddha and Al the picture, and it was like, there was only 3 seats taken in the entire movie theater. And so we're like, we'll just hold off. Well, it turns out that no seats were sold, and those were the 3 that it just auto assigned, you know, and then you can go back and choose. So up until the movie showtime, we were the only 3 people that had bought tickets ahead of time.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, it was kind of nice. And then, you know, I think another 7 people came in, but
wow. So all in all, the place was empty.
Yeah. Regal Middleburg is where it's at.
I know where it's at. Yeah. I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah.
How the fuck are movie theaters going to stay in business like through this as an industry?
Yeah, and especially with, I mean,
they were hurting before this even happened. You know that, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, so 10 people bought tickets for $12, so that movie made $120 that night.
I know.
From just that one showing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it sucks, like, well, and it's certain theaters though. Like I don't know, I would be sad that theater closed, because when I went to see Ghostbusters, the other theater in town, it's assigned seating as well, and I was looking up tickets, and there was like, it was almost sold out, you know, 20 minutes before the movie, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna check this other one on my way home, and I was like one of 5 people in that theater. So, I mean, certain ones are doing a lot better than others, you know, but I do agree. I mean, dude, a bucket of popcorn's $10.
Right. You know, you can watch all the movies on Netflix. I mean, that's what I was saying before even the COVID crap hit. I mean, these theaters are starting to kind of feel a little bit because people are just staying home more anyway. They can just do all that shit on Netflix, you know?
And I was thinking about this too. When I went and saw Ghostbusters, the last movie I saw in theater was, the last Star Wars movie. And that's only because Al and I went to each opening, like, so it was kind of like a traditional thing. Not that I was like dying to see it, but I couldn't believe, like, I'm like, man, it really has been almost 2 years since I was in a movie theater. And then, like, to think, you know, a lot of these movies are doing dual streaming. I'm like, I really want to see The Matrix, but I'm like, it's dual release, so because it's through Warner Brothers, who's partnered with HBO, I'm trying to figure out what I should do. So, I don't know. I mean, I want to see it on the big screen, but, you know,
you have a pretty big screen at home.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to see Spider-Man opening weekend. I know Buddha really wants to go.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. We were shooting for an hour, and we're just slightly over. So let's shut her down for this week. Does that sound good, Buddha? Dan, anybody?
Yeah. Works for me.
All right. Are you in a little better mood after the show?
I was never.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
No, he's talking to me. Yeah, I'm a little better off. I'm glad it's almost Friday, so a couple days off during the weekend, stress-free from work.
Well, here, news blast. Senate votes to avert a government shutdown. Great. All right. Let's shut it down. All right. So next Thursday, what's the calendar looking like? That is December 9th. And then the following is the 16th. So I think we'll be here. Well, I mean, if we keep doing Thursdays, I don't see any holidays butting up with it. So.
Oh, the Thursday before New Year's Eve is on a Friday, right?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
So I will be gone that Thursday because I have a rehearsal dinner for Natalie's friend's wedding.
You better fucking cancel. Get your priorities straight.
Working on it.
All right. No, that's cool. And then let me know next week if you're gonna be able to do it with me and.
Yeah, I'll be good. Yeah.
All right. Well, for Dan Rady, Steve Gibson, Alex Benzinski, Robert Tobicash, and everybody else in the Type 3 TV universe, say goodnight,